quick video. So just finished jogging, okay, so that's why the sweat. So yeah, I finished jogging and I sat down and I was thinking about something. Something just came to mind. Was talking with this I forget who it was I was talking to, but it was a cousin or somebody else, and they asked me, seriously, Barry, seriously, you don't want your wife to work, when you get married? So I said, no, I don't want her to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to work. All right. Now, people, if we just stop and think about, a wife working, and let's look at the pros and the cons of a wife working. Okay. All right. So you will see that God is right in that when He says that, the women must take care of the home, raise the children, take care of their husbands. You'll see that again, God is smarter than men. That the the foolishness of God is so much more infinitely wiser than the wisdom of men. So women working now. Okay, what's the benefit of women working? The pros. Okay, if there's such a thing. You can see my bias, right? The pros. Okay, money. More money. A woman would say independence for her. In independence, of course, with money, but we said it already. So independence in that she can get out of the house, right? She's not in the house all day. She's not completely limited by what goes on in her marriage or in the house. Okay. What else? Women working. If something happened to the husband, the wife income is there, right? If something happened to the husband, if let's say he even dies, her income is there already, right? Woman empowerment psychologically, meaning okay, she can tell her daughter that, look, see, I'm working. You are just as good as a man. You can get out there and do it too. You don't have to depend on a man. So what you call that now? Role modeling a certain way of life, right? The strong, independent woman way of life. Okay. What else? Women, I'm sure we can add to this. But ultimately, what it is it come down to really, women empowerment, right? The woman is empowered to do certain things that she would not be able to do if she was not working, right? If she was a stay-at-home wife. Okay. So what are the cons? And of course, women, you have your own. I could have missed something. Try to be as fair as possible. But of course, yes, I have a bias. But I try to be as fair as possible. Now, the cons is, and this is, I think God is highlighting the cons column because he doesn't see any of those pros. God does not, all them things that in the pros column, God doesn't want for women. He doesn't want for a family. So the cons column is a woman working outside the home takes away from the home. Meaning the time she's away at work has to be filled by something or somebody. Something has to fill that spot, right? She can't take care of her kids full time. Okay, she can't take care of the home full time. She can't take care of her husband full time. She has other obligations outside the home. She has other things that she's doing, right? When a woman and a man get married, it's just a woman and a man, right? Let's assume that they have no kids, right? It's a woman and a man, right? And then they go out and they both work, right? So I guess when the husband is at work and the wife is at work, right? It's the husband can't expect to come home to like a hot meal, probably have to buy a meal. When they have children, the woman has to leave her kids, leave her newborn, maternity leave, and daycare, have somebody else take care of her child. School, put the kid in school, have the school raise her child, right? All right. So I guess I could go back to the pros column. I forgot to mention, when I said money, the ability to buy more stuff, right? More stuff, right? Okay. So back to the cons column. Her part of her life, most of her, you spend most of your life at work, you know that, right? You spend most of your life at work. Most of her life is spent at work, right? Taken away from the reign of her children and time invested in her marriage and her children. And when women go to work, they meet other people, other men, right? They have what they call job husbands, I call them. You know what I'm saying affairs happen mostly at work, right? Mostly at work affairs. They meet other people, basically time away from her family. Having work becomes a second family. That's a con. It becomes a second family, a second life. Okay, woman can do a lot of stuff outside the home because she has to go to work. She can say she's going to work and she's not going to work. When she leaves the house, she's actually independent of her husband and of her family, right? And a lot of women, they that becomes a second life, and they can look at their kids and actually walk away from their kids because they have a second life out there, right? So I think the cons, the way you have, with, people, they work hard all their life, and they're working, for things and for stuff and not for their kids. They would say, okay, I'm working to give you a better life. But a better life, what I've come to realize, a better life, as God said, is to actually spend time with your children and your family and investing in your kids and your family. That's a better life versus going and working for somebody and acquiring money. Acquiring money, right, to get stuff, because money cannot buy kids. Money cannot buy love. Money cannot buy time. Money cannot buy, relationships. Money is just, at the end of the day, money is just for inanimate things that evaporate, that are burned up, right? It's best you spend that time, right, and make less money and invest in your children, invest in your marriage, invest in your home, invest in your husband. And the rewards are much greater than when you see these people, you see these rich people in America, in old folks' home or in a old elderly community. They're very wealthy, but their kids are nowhere to be found, and they're lonely, old and lonely. Worse off is when you have a divorced woman by herself, or a widow by herself. It's terrible, because they work hard all their life for all kind of stuff. They acquire all kind of stuff, all kind of monies, but their kids are far away because the kids don't see them as important. The kids see them as modeling a lifestyle where the mom especially is out working. So then the kids are like, yeah, that's the way to live. I have to go out and work too. So they get, the mom and the dad pay for their education. They take the education and it takes them away from their family, away from their mom and dad. They see the education as important. They see the job as important. And then they repeat the cycle. So the parents are not seen as valuable as family. They see a job as family, things as family. Having a big house, big car, a big fat bank account is family for them, is what's important. So the parents are secondary, just as the kids were secondary when the parents grew up. So I'm just saying, God is right. We should prioritize family, prioritize your children, right? That's what you should do. You don't have to have a fat bank account. You don't have to have, you don't have to live in a certain place. You don't have to live in California. You can actually go to the country, get a simpler job, and make less money and live on a larger land space, a bigger house for for all the kids you're gonna have. You know what I'm saying? People today prioritize stuff and things and lifestyles over family, right? And in the end, all those things lead to loneliness, sadness, emptiness, depression, suicide, right? When you invest in family as God says you should, raise your children, invest in your family, in the end, the reward of that is so great. Furthermore, when it's time before God, the judgment from God to be good. You cannot spend your life just going after, status and lifestyle and things. All these things evaporate. All these things you leave behind, and all these things, will be passed on to somebody else. Okay? What's the point in having a huge house with no children? A huge house with 1 or 2 kids. What's the point? What exactly is the point? What's the point of working hard all your life for a company? All right? What is the point of having a big fat bank account? What's the point? All these things that you only thing that really lasts in life, I've come to realize in my own experiences, children, and raising godly children, all right, and serving the Lord are things, being close to to family, being a family man, being a good family. These things go on perpetually, because when you pass, when you leave godly seed, or leaving family behind, they take that and they impact the world in a positive way. Okay? People think that money is it, money is so important, but money can be taken away from you just like that, taken away from you, right? But they can't take away the love of your children, or the love your children have for you. They can't take that away from you. They can't take up the treasure that you store up in heaven, from obeying God and doing what He says. So, I don't want my wife to work at all for nobody. There is enough work to do at home in, taking care of home, taking care of me, taking care of enough children. That is that is the best work. That is the most fulfilling work. All right. And when, this past Christmas, I saw that with my family, how family is so important. As we have issues, but I realized that, I made a decision to stick close to my family, my immediate family. I'm saying, not to move far from my mother, to stay close to her. Right? I made a conscious decision to do that. Right? And it has paid off, huge. Right? Even, this year my mom did not put up her Christmas lights. But I realized that, it wasn't the lights that I love so much at Christmas. It wasn't spending time with my family at Christmas. That's what I love so much. And, that's so important. And that's what is important. What if I had, a lot of money and I moved away? I might have had a lot of friends, temporary friends. Big house, big car, so what? These things can't talk to you, can't console you, can't love you. All right? What if I didn't know the Lord, And then I wouldn't have, had the wisdom to stick close to family, to love my family, to be a good father, right? So yeah, in the end, God is right in the end as usual. Wives, take care of your children, your home, your husband. That's your priority in life. That's your priority in life. And in the end, you will reap a great reward. Amen. Jesus Christ is Lord. Don't you know? Good day.